What's up, sassy gamers? Today is Friday, which is odd, April 8th, 2022, and this has Got Our Attention podcast. I'm here with Kelly, Day Drinker ATL. What up? I've got Brian, Phoenix Nova.
What's up?
And yeah, me. We're here all together. I'm glad we're all here.
And this has Got Our Attention podcast.
Yeah, I said that.
I wanted
But
to say,
hey, if you're excited, that's fine.
Could you imagine if
and I also
TikTok
wanted
like
to say, I love your shirt, Mike.
Thanks. I like this
Yes.
I
shirt.
love it.
That reminds me, I got to order some. Could you imagine if TikTok like brought back the "What's up"? Just a whole bunch of
the
TikTokers
Budweiser.
like dancing to something in the Indian, like "What's up?" and like
Oh,
that'd be
cool. What's up?
terrible.
It would be great. We would love
It'd
it.
be terrible.
We eat it up.
Maybe we could start a
would.
movement. Maybe we could be
We
the
would.
first one.
Listen, I'm sure each of the three of us can start a movement. It's just not the movement that anyone wants to see or hear.
Depends.
Well, okay, yeah, you're right, Mike.
For those of you who are listening to the podcast, and
But this is not our OnlyFans, so
I do want to go back to Mike's shirt because it is pretty epic. It says, "And we're back," which is his signature phrase. It is just such an amazing shirt. I love it.
Yep. Ordered it just for myself. You too can have one as well. Let us know.
do we have links on our website already for this?
No, we don't have any merch yet. If you want some merch,
Okay,
reach out to us, let us know.
Yeah.
So the people hearing this, like, oh, I can have one too. Oh,
We
crap.
got have interest. Maybe
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Let us
Give
know
us
you
a
want one,
yep.
and we'll figure out the other part.
Right.
Well, cool. Thanks for hanging out today. Hopefully a good show, because there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Along with
I have a
some
feeling it's
other,
going to be an amazing show.
not so much.
I love the optimism. Hopefully a good show.
Hopefully. As long as I don't get shanked while we're doing this.
Oh my gosh. Did
All
you
right.
hear about
What
that
did you
dude?
do to your what
They
did you do
got
to your
shanked?
partner?
Nothing. Huh? What?
Did you
Get
hear
shanked.
about there was a police what are the people, they're not, are they police officers who are in jails and prisons?
No, they're
They're guards.
correction officers?
yeah,
Yeah.
correctional officers, yeah.
One of them got stabbed with a shank in
I mean,
Georgia. I can't remember which
That
county
makes
it
a
was,
lot
but-
more sense than like a Georgia state parole being shanked by a prisoner.
Yes. I mean, but which is also possible though, I guess. I don't know.
But less likely.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
Kelly.
not police officer, that's for sure.
Can we get to your
Okay.
corner?
Mike's
Are you
already
just
worn out
jumping in
with
her
this.
corner already?
Say, take it to the corner.
All right, so I do have two stories in my corner. One story is courtesy of Brian. The other is something I think Brian will think is funny because we've talked about it before.
Brian will think it's funny.
Wow.
So
Anything I'm gonna like
Brian's
today?
my audience, so thank you all for joining. But really, this is just for Brian.
Wow.
No, it's for you too, Mike. I think
He just fetched. He just brought his toy in.
Oh, so real quick, one thing I was going to talk about in my
He
corner,
just brought his toy in.
but I thought was too short. But since Parker is in the background and bringing you stuff,
Yes, he's a
did
good boy.
you know? I heard this fact today or over the week. Did you know that when your cat
Mhm.
brings you dead animals or
Yep.
something, most people think it's, oh, I'm bringing you this because I love you and you're part of my pack. No,
Nope.
they're bringing it to you because they're trying to teach you how to hunt, and you're a
Yes.
bad hunter.
Yes. Which is hilarious because
Yes.
I'm the one who provides him food all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And he knows it. He
Yeah,
will,
that's
he certain times in the morning when he knows it's about time for me to wake up, he will sit on my legs. So A, because he knows that amount of heat will wake me up, and B, because when I move my legs off the bed, that it's time for him to go get food. So yeah, he's
Like,
a
you think I'm
grand
bad
old
hunter?
turd.
I'm a very efficient hunter. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so my cat's never brought me anything like that. So what does that tell you?
Oh, you're a
Well, I'll
They
tell you what
must-
it tells you. She's just
very
lazy.
good
Good. Yeah.
Or maybe do you let her outside, or do you
No.
have toys for her?
Oh,
No?
don't let cats outside. It's a bad thing.
Oh, I trust me. I know. My Lucy, she hangs out with me literally outside. When I go in, she comes in. She didn't go any further away. We just hang out. We just hang out.
My cat
Yeah.
will make you think that she's allowed to go outside. Like if you
Yes.
come over, you would believe that she has been going outside her whole life.
Yes.
But she's lying. She never goes outside.
Yeah. Oh, he's still gonna. All right. So, if you lived or were in Dallas, if you lived
and you're now dead in Dallas,
if you lived and are no longer alive, you're not listening. So this does not apply to you. But if you currently live in Dallas,
you're a zombie.
Yeah. But are you paying attention then?
I mean, and what is Jason Voorhees?
Yeah. That's a really good. Let's definitely talk about that in the intermission and
Yes.
scene. If you live in Dallas or were visiting Dallas on April 1st, April Fool's Day, you may have been rickrolled by a company called Sky Elements Drone Shows. Why was that hard for me to say?
Oh.
They assembled 300 drones to form a QR code that was pretty freaking enormous. It was 180 feet by 200 feet, 100 feet wide, 200 feet tall for 20 minutes, Friday night, April the 1st, and to form a QR code. When you took a picture and went to the QR code, it played
QR
Rick
code.
Astley's QR code.
You're cold.
Because Mike's sick. It played Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down. I'm gonna get us DMCA." Hysterical.
I just heard you say you were getting us D there for a second, so
I'll pass.
I was like, okay.
I mean, we're up for anything tonight. It's Friday. So this company just recently did a QR code Halo thing for Paramount Plus at South by Southwest. And but the QR code thing, I think, is pretty freaking epic.
It's pretty cool.
Well,
I
yeah,
see
and-
it further away. Like it's better.
Well, and they also said that, it was only, like 100 foot by 100 foot type thing and everything.
100 feet by 250 feet. Yeah.
Sky Elements drone shows. There you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Pretty amazing. And I'm
but,
always about a Rick roll.
they said it sounds like such a small amount, but it ends up looking a lot larger than you think when it's hanging in the sky like that.
Yeah.
And people were just able to see it for miles around and totally got rickrolled.
Love it. I love it so much.
And the other thing too is it was kind of last minute for them. They're like, we're going to do anything for April Fool's Day. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And they basically thought of it last minute, programmed it,
That should be easy.
Yeah.
I think they got whatever permits they needed to be able to fly them where they did fly them.
It actually was very difficult. So while it was last minute, it took a lot of people and a lot of time. Like they had to spend an entire day. So all of these drones have GPS tracking on them and crazy high powered LED lights. So it took a lot of practice, a lot of getting together, a lot of coordination to actually get it done. So the fact that they were able to get it done that quickly.
Well, they had to have some type of permits too.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no way you're flying this anywhere near the city and that you're not within 5 miles of an airport. And if you're within 5 miles of an airport, you've got to get permission from the tower of each of those airports.
Well, in all of your drones, every drone has to have, what is it? It's the FTC, not the FTC, the FAA. It has to have an FAA designation too.
Over a certain size, which those drones certainly are over that size. So But that they figure they already had because they're a drone company. They already have that stuff.
Oh, that was just like a side note.
The side note, yeah, it's good. Good information for our listeners.
Just so you know, getting a drone isn't as easy as you think because
flying a drone isn't as easy as you think either. Mostly just because the regulations and everything.
Yeah. So Preston Ward is the chief pilot and general counsel for Sky Elements drone shows, and the idea came from Jared. I'm gonna mess up his name.
So his middle name?
Guinness. I'm gonna mess up his name.
Gerald, I'm gonna mess up his name. Guinness. Got it.
Yes, that is his middle name. You're right. I'm gonna mess up his name. It's a really long name.
Yeah.
He came up with the idea about a week before April 1st when they were at South by Southwest. So super freaking cool. The other one I have, is there anybody else out there who really enjoys the dances in Fortnite?
Oh, I love them.
I thought you were going to say TikTok, but
no. Oh, I love TikTok. I've never once seen a TikTok dance. Clearly,
isn't that what the platform is for?
No, it's not. Maybe originally, but now not. And I joined after that, so I don't have to worry about that crap.
After that, it's still going on.
I will say I am really glad that the background logic has kept all of that garbage away from me. Then
garbage is so much fun.
Sounds like
dancing is fun, lady.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, right?
No,
just one man's trash is another man's trash.
Well, so Fortnite, you can do little dances. I've watched Brian play a lot of Fortnite, and he's done dances. There's a Dua Lipa song dance that his character does every once in a while. Well, I did not realize that some of these dances were stolen from people, and they've gone through like lawsuits back in 2018 and before. Lots of lawsuits, some of them resolved.
The Carlton.
Yes.
The poison ivy dance that the guy did in Scrubs.
Yeah. So sometimes they've had to pay out, sometimes they haven't, but there have been several lawsuits. Well, the most recent one was created by, there's this choreographer named Kyle Hanagami, and he created a dance or portion of a dance to it's complicated emote is what, I'm sorry. He created a dance. Fortnite stole it, I'll say in quotation marks. It's still under litigation. It looks like they stole it. I'm going to say, yeah.
I mean, it's the same dance.
It's
the same timing. Yep. I love that they line up Captain America right on top of them.
Yes. So he choreographed a dance to Charlie Puth's How Long? And the attorneys created the footage that you're watching, basically showing like it is clearly the dance. Like there's like a
identical
head turn. It really is. The only problem is it is just a very small portion of the dance. To copyright a dance, and what makes this even worse, what makes this even more of a big deal, not worse, is that Hanagami copyrighted this dance. So it is his intellectual property.
This is the first one of them that Epic has had where the person going against them is like, no, this is copyrighted, MFers.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Is
step,
you have to get
step the F off.
The whole thing has to be a choreography thing. It's not just like, oh, I do a dance on TikTok and that's my dance. Like it legit has to be like a company, like a choreography like set. So this is the first.
Well, and it's also, it's not clearly defined in the law because laws are specifically vague so that judges have the ability to blah, blah, blah. Go into that later. But snippets of a dance have been determined not to be copyrightable.
Right.
It's got to be a performance, and then the the question of the length of a snippet where it becomes a performance is where it gets really hazy.
That's what I was going to say. So it gets a little
like an IPA.
It gets a little fuzzy because of that. So because they stole, because it looks like they
stole.
They copied. They directly copied.
The odds of somebody coming up with those exact moves, unlikely. So
I'm sure I would win the Mega Millions 5 times in a row before that happened.
Yeah. But it did make me think about, so my husband, and Mike, I know you're a musician. My husband told me about a song that he and a band that he was in a long time ago had come up with. And they were like, oh my God, this is so awesome. This is good. This is a great song. And then later on, he was listening to another song and realized, oh God, we kind of stole that unintentionally. Like we thought it was this original piece of work, and
we got inspiration from bars that we listened to and didn't realize.
Yeah.
There's literally only 3 chords in the world. So to try to write a song that's like outside of that is really hard.
Yeah.
I can go to my closet door right there and pull out a box that's got way more than 3 chords in it. Guaranteed.
Doesn't matter. All the songs are the same 3 chords. It's over. Yeah. But no, it is a thing. Like there's so much music in the world, so much that's, been done over decades of time, different genres and things. Like we were listening to, I think it was yesterday, my brother sent me a link to The Police, and he's like, hey, listen to this song. It's called So Lonely. And he's like, you would think it was a 2000s like ska, like pop punk band. And I'm like, listen to it. And it really is. It literally sounds like Pepper or like some band like that. That's like just that like nice like vibe. Like you could just feel that acid vibe. Oh, I hate that. But yeah, it's just that that's just how it is. Like things evolve, but yeah, it's gonna be hard to try to really come up with anything new. But this isn't that. Like this is not that. No,
this is not that.
Like they stole this and they didn't want to get caught.
Very
they got
clearly.
Caught. Oh, well, they're gonna pay. Whatever.
And the dude created it, the choreography in 2017, and they are just now getting caught, or I don't know when they.
They just released this dance in Fortnite relatively recently.
Okay, well in that case, they were like, nobody's gonna notice, but
right. Well, one of the biggest games in the world, no one's gonna know. Well, I mean, also to be fair, the person who copied this, I can't really blame them. I blame more of the company, because the company is like, you have this live service game. You have to constantly create content for it. There's this need for everyone that is playing it to. Mike will tell you, he's like, when he came back into Fortnite, he's like, "There's aliens in this. This is crazy. I didn't know." And it was because there's this constant content churn. And Mike was able to watch as the game evolved as he played it. And it's just fascinating how much content gets created so quickly. So yes, when some of these developers or animators or anyone else, they're put under the pressure from their management that, nope, nonstop, got to keep creating new content. We got to have something new. They're clamoring. And these emotes, right? These dances and emotes and everything like that, they keep track of what season and chapter that they get released on.
Right.
And so when they come back in the store again, because they don't make them they don't make all of them for sale at once. There's this artificial rarity that they build into it, which builds the FOMO, which means that people want to spend money, and it's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. This is brilliant economics going on. Like these I was about to cuss again. These wonderful people that work for this game need to stop doing this, and they need to just run the economy for the country.
Yeah.
Of course, then we would all be poor and the government would have all the money.
What would surprise me, or wouldn't surprise me, is that they really just have an AI that they've designed to scan YouTube videos and just scan for dances and just pull them out and automatically just turn them. just churn them
Just
out.
churn it.
And then, they catch it. Oh, my bad. Sorry. We didn't mean to, And like, you got time for that. You just scan the internet. That'd be easy.
Yeah, maybe not. But definitely these people are under pressure to create a lot of stuff. So them copying stuff, the individual people making this, not necessarily the company itself, them copying stuff makes total sense. I would see why they do it. And so, I mean, the sad thing is someone's probably losing their bonus because, hey, Bob, the emote you made, you got caught. That extra $50,000, nope, we're taking that right back.
I don't, you know what? I don't think it's.
But I have a wife and kids.
I think that person is probably getting fired. I think that. I mean, you know what? We should not.
I honestly don't think they're going to get fired because the worst, and I'm going to bring it to a darker place, but they're literally. The company doesn't want to fire them since they already have them in a form of indentured servitude.
Right.
I want to say I've seen a lot worse too. Like hence, Bobby Kotick.
Yeah. Anyway, awesome stories. I liked them. Speaking of Bobby Kotick.
Speaking of Bobby Kotick, let's hit the news. Slow down, Will Smith.
Knuckles.
All right.
No, that's should be releasing soon. Isn't that out soon?
Oh,
or is it already out?
The Sonic. Yeah, I think
it premiered today.
Later this month.
I think it premiered today.
So did yesterday was Everything Everywhere at Once, which I'm very curious. Like, I think that's gonna be awesome. Like, actually, when they wrote that movie, oh, cool. When they wrote that movie, they wrote Everything Everywhere at Once.
Sorry,
they wrote it for basically Jackie Chan.
Oh wow!
They were totally doing for Jackie Chan on that, and it kind of wasn't working. And then they changed the main character to a woman. And then all of a sudden the story worked for them. And they're like, okay, well then let's bring in Michelle Yeoh. So good on her. I know my partner likes Michelle Yeoh, so she's happy about that.
Activision has made the news again. Except this time,
shocker.
Not so much of a bad thing. So Activision Blizzard said they would convert 1,100 US-based temporary or contract quality assurance workers to full-time staffers. This apparently comes over years of criticism from their employees because they obviously would make them work a lot harder because they're hourly and work extraneous hours and things like that. Apparently this change will increase the headcount in Activision publishing arm by 25% and boosts the minimum salary from workers to $20 an hour. So pretty big news for some of these part-time people that have been kind of getting the shaft. Not to mention when you have full-time employees, you have to out for benefits and things like that. Maybe even 401k at this point. But yeah, really cool news. I don't think they said this has obviously been in the works in the last year. This wouldn't have anything to do necessarily with the Microsoft transaction because it's still under wraps. Like it's still being worked on. So they can't make decisions for this yet. But anyway, it was really cool to see, maybe even with this, and now we see like they're going to not care about having the unions that once Microsoft hits that this may actually turn around.
Yeah. I seen a couple of things on the social media because I actually heard about this story from Twitter. And there were also people that were very much like, and yet that's still under what Target pays. And that's not entirely true. Target does have some starting wages at $24 an hour, but it's in specific cities and for specific jobs. So that's kind of a clickbaity thing there. Yeah. But at the same time, I get it because it's a tough job. QA is, and $20 an hour in some ways doesn't seem like very much, but it's also the way that some of these people get into the game industry.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah. And some people were saying, okay, now someone hire all their QA testers for double that amount and teach Activision Blizzard a lesson. I mean, I think it's more positive than not. At least they're taking steps in the right direction.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I honestly don't know what the median salary out there is for a QA tester, so I can't tell you. And by the way, for those people who are like, oh, they get paid to play games for their job. I'm like, no, that is not what this is about. It is.
Yeah.
It's like taking the thing that you like most in the world and having you do the worst parts of it over and over and over and over again until you're sick of it and you don't even want to do it for fun anymore.
Yeah.
Is how I've heard it described. But sorry, I'm going to take it to even a darker place. Because what place is darker than that? That's right. It's the place of NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
Like scary music to play.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't. That's a good idea. I should have. Nope. That'll DMCA.
Okay.
But I'll find something for that for the future. No. So I still think the best description in NFT is a solution looking for a problem to solve.
Yes.
That they came up with a solution, but they don't have a problem anywhere because everything that I've seen that it, like you got the Quark or whatever NFTs from Ubisoft, but Steam already sells hats.
Yeah.
Like you don't need the blockchain to do this, and Steam makes plenty of money doing it without all that stuff. And it's better for the planet kind of, because you don't spend a whole bunch of energy like decrypting the blockchain and all this crap. Well, NFTs have actually been around for a while. It's been news within the last year, that's for sure. Interestingly enough, what just happened is the first NFT-based game actually launched back in 2019 and is now shuttering. It's closing its doors. Which then brings up the interesting concept of, okay, what happens with all that stuff, right? So let's talk a little bit about the game first, real quick. It's called, yeah, it is called F1 Delta Time, and it is an F1 racing game. And interestingly enough, the highest selling NFT for the year 2019 was an F1 car from this game. So that kind of makes a little sense, right? This car is like, I don't know the right word. Kelly, you're going to help me on this. This is gaudy. It's bedazzled. It's covered with diamonds.
It is like what you would consider. Oh yeah. It's
bougie.
Bougie is a great word for it. Yes.
It's like if you really loved those jeans that had like the bedazzlement on the butt, you would love.
And on the pockets and down the seams and had LED lights built into it, but also could go 210 miles per hour.
It is? Yeah, it's definitely bedazzled. It's definitely bedazzled. That is a bedazzled effing car.
The F1 car, actually.
Yeah. Bedazzled
now,
F1
interestingly enough, that car sold this in it, the NFT token representing that car.
Did you just say NFT token?
Yeah. A non-fungible token. Yes.
We talked about the ATMs yesterday.
ATM machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Last week. Sold for over $100,000. Literally, the buyer of this himself said, I could have bought a real car for this kind of money. Yes, sir, you could have. And you could still be driving that car. As opposed to this one, you can't even drive anymore. Now, okay, So it's an F1 game, right? Like racing. To a greater or lesser degree, most of us like racing games, right? F1, it looks exciting. You're like driving along super fast. You got these. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the game. That is F1 2021. I don't even know who it's made by, but that is not the game. Do you want to see what this game looks like? This is some dude's first time playing the game.
Just some dude.
This is what the game looks like. In fact, actually, I probably can readjust that a little bit so you can see the car better when I get to the other one. This guy can't make it around corners. He crashes every corner.
He looks like
it is his first time playing. It's his first time playing. That makes sense. But it is a game where you're playing from an overhead perspective, and your car.
You can't even see the car.
It's this little itty bitty speck. This will give you a much better view here. I'll show you. This guy knows what he's doing when he's playing this one. He's much better at this. It's this little speck of a car. As you're driving along, it's like you're on a helicopter 200 feet in the sky with a camera on this thing.
Damn ridiculous. I'm sorry.
And you spent
that $100,000 car.
Right, which you wouldn't even be able to see the fact it was bedazzled from 200 feet in the sky.
Oh my gosh.
People are going to be stupid, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but this goes on the level of batshit insane. By the way, this guy's actually pretty good at playing this one. This guy isn't crashing anything.
NFTs just to spend money on NFTs.
Right. Now, okay, so that's what the game is, right? And that's what he spent it on. Now, more interestingly enough, so what happens when a game like this shuts down? Now, obviously, you can't drive your car anymore. That's the obvious thing. You spent $100,000 in this car about 2 years ago-ish, maybe a little bit more, 2.5 years ago, and you can't play it anymore. The reason why they're shutting it down, by the way, is because they could no longer secure the F1 license, because that is a costly license. That's why they shut it down. So here's some of the quotes from the company. As a part of our commitment to an open ecosystem, open. You can only play this car on your games. On your game that you're shutting down. That's not an open ecosystem, but whatever. We're providing F1 Delta Time asset owners with the following options. All F1 Delta Time car owners can receive replacement cars, which are equivalent cars for the Rev, R-E-V-V, Rev Racing on Polygon, based on the rarity and power of your original F1 Delta Time cars. So not the same car moving over, which, by the way, that was a big thing when people were talking about NFT in games, like, oh, you're going to buy this suit of armor in this game, and you're going to be able to take this suit of armor to any game that you want. You know, because you own that suit of armor now, so you can transport it into this other game. It's like, no, you can't. Like, they have to, like, you have to have. That's not even counting the coding.
Do you have a phone?
Yeah. Could you imagine, like, moving that into, like, a different developer, a different publisher, like moving it from Sony to, like, an Xbox developer? There's no way they're going to spend the time to program that in.
For
it would have
you?
to be,
No.
It'd have to be like Nintendo, like where Nintendo has all of their certain like brands that they have, like Mario, and they even kind of do a little bit of the cameo stuff in their games. Like that'd be the only way to be able to have like NFTs travel per game, because like they would all have access to the assets. They could they do whatever they want,
and they don't even really do it.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. This is dumb.
And so here we have even the same company, the same publishers, the same developers, and they're saying, oh, no. You can't take your car into the other racing game. We're going to give you another car that's equivalent in power and rarity. It might not even be a bedazzled one. And goodness knows, without the F1 name, it's certainly not going to sell for $100,000. which by the way is not the most that one of their cars sold for. They had cars approaching $300,000, just not in 2019. 2019, the highest selling NFT in a game was, this car, or I think any NFT for 2019. So they're like, okay, yeah. Or your F1 Delta Time cars can be swapped for a race pass.
Oh,
that's right.
A battle pass.
$10 a battle pass,
What?
which in Fortnite, a battle pass is like, $12. Most other games, battle passes are between $12 and $25 a month.
$100,000, $12.
You just have battle pass for like, excuse me. You just have battle pass for like, 20 years.
20 years.
Oh my
God. Now, mind you. Now, what does this race pass give you? One of the things that the race pass gives you is used in staking and gives access to future NFT mints.
Well, you've already gotten rid of my NFT. Like, why would I bother?
And not even giving you another NFT, giving you the ability to buy. This sounds like a pyramid scheme. This is horrendous. Staking version 4.0 will have our largest reward pool yet, 20 million rev. So I guess maybe that's a cryptocurrency on top of that. Yeah. To participate, you will need to use your new rev racing assets together with a race pass. Future staking events to be announced. Yeah, so again, they're trying to like
the battle pass. Oh my god.
Event segment owners receive 6 months of rewards and an option to swap for track vouchers. Yet another currency here.
Room that they're like, all right, guys, here's the plan. Like this. The
track vouchers are redeemable for Rev Motorsport track NFTs. So you can have an NFT of the track, but anyone can race on that track any damn time they want because it's part of the game.
That's not an NFT.
But that doesn't matter because the game's shutting down. You can't use the NFTs anyway.
That's true.
Well, no. This game, the Rev Motorsports, is continuing on. It's their other game that is racing-like, just not with the F1 branding, which is
with a Formula One
what
car.
people want.
Yeah, give it time.
People want the F1. Like, hey, that's if you look back, you're like, why did things like Burnout and stuff like that not make it going forward? Where things like Forza and GT did keep continuing forward because Forza and GT had actual licensed cars. You could
from the beginning
drive a Koenigsegg 1. Yep. Burnout had made up cars and made up car names, and people just like it was fun games, but people weren't as invested. Literally, in the case of Rev and their F1, they weren't as invested as much without the actual branding and licensing. Also, it gets even better. All other F1 Delta Time assets can be swapped for proxy assets, which will be used in the future to obtain NFTs for products across the Rev Motorsport ecosystem. This thing, it's just a giant scam for them to make money. And without the F1 branding, I think they're probably doomed to fail. I'm really curious. I need to set myself a calendar reminder to see how these people are doing in 6 months, because maybe a year.
Billions
these
of
people,
dollars.
They're idiots.
Kelly,
sorry.
Save me.
I'm saving you, Mike.
Do we need the rant on that one? I think that almost.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of like a rant.
Yeah, it was pretty much a rant alert.
That was awesome. Brian's
Kelly.
NFT rant alert. I'm in.
I didn't realize.
No, Kelly.
So worked up about things.
There's a whole tale there. Yeah, you go. You got me. I almost had cat tail in my rum and coke.
He got passionate about something. It was weird.
He did.
I didn't know he had a soul.
That was awesome.
I hate NFTs.
Me too, man. I'm right there with you, buddy. You can rant about them all day long. So if you're a pacifist like me, I'm like, no war. No, you're not. No. Okay. So, and I will tell you after looking at all of this, it wasn't really super pacifisty, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Iron Pineapple, who has a YouTube channel, you can watch them play lots of games, including Elden Ring. finish the game without any direct damage to enemies or bosses themselves. So the whole thing took them about 45 minutes to actually, or I'm sorry, not 45 minutes, 45 hours to get through.
Yeah, that's a bit different.
Way longer than I would have ever spent on this game to begin with. I have watched a lot of people play Elden Ring. It is very stressful for me.
I'm good.
Like, I get the whole, you gotta find the rhythm and, you know, find the sequence and make sure you're doing
I'll
this.
play
And
Dance
every once
Dance
in a while,
Revolution.
What?
So
You
I just
play
played
Dance
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 Dance Revolution.
Yeah. It's a serious game. And to be able to make it to the end of the game without actually killing someone yourself, pretty incredible. Well, they started off using started off as the prophet class, and then moved to chose the Fanged Imp Ashes as their bonus item, and were able to use NPCs to, you know, summon different parts, different people, support different classes. But what really got me was ultimately they used the mimic tier, which allows you to have somebody act as your copy. And that copy is what ended up defeating the bosses in the end. So was it really, were they really a pacifist or?
I mean, one could argue that if there's...
It's another cool way of finishing the game. That's what that was the interesting part about it. You're finishing it in a different fashion without, you know, jumping through the same hoops that everybody jumps through, right? So I think that is pretty spectacular. I do love that. Calling this a pacifist, though, I don't think is technically accurate.
I definitely think that no direct damage is an accurate way of saying it. Because they'll do it like a shield, and then the boss attacks them, and because they're using the shield, the boss takes damage. Okay, that makes sense. When you summon in a giant spectral Viking lad that starts wailing on something, that was still your decision to do that. Even if you didn't do the direct damage. Still pretty cool, though. Very cool.
So if you're a fan of Monkey Island,
I know one.
Early PC days, they're actually going to be releasing a new game. It came out as an April 1st announcement, which most people took as April Fools. But actually, so publishers Devolver, I can't ever say their name, Devolver Digital and Lucasfilm Games have announced released a Monkey Island it was in 2009 when they announced it, but they came out and released now saying that they'd be finishing the game later this year. So this will be the 6th part of this series. This is, like I said, the return to Monkey Island. And what's funny is one of the developers who the series was created by, Ron Brush, and it goes by a Grumpy Gamer on Twitter. He posted back in 2013. He said, "If I ever get to make another Monkey Island, I'm going to announce it on April 1st."
There you go.
In 2022, and they announced a new game. So we'll see what happens. There's not a set date for this yet, 2022, but it's apparently coming this year. So hopefully we'll see it, and it should be as fun as everything else.
Absolutely. I know someone who's super excited about that. Kind of like, I will agree with Daydrinker a bit on some of the pacifism parts of it, because real war sucks.
Yes.
Certainly that's something that I could literally live without. And a couple of people agree too, because there is this massive freemium game, free to play, but you can definitely pay to play and pay to kind of win-ish a little bit, which is World of Tanks. And World of Tanks is just become this massive, massive game. Interestingly enough, their original studio started in Russia, but they're no longer based out of Russia. And they decided to close their original office. They decided to cut ties with both their offices that are in Russia. And I think they even, if I'm correct, they may have had an office in Belarus as well. But their offices are no longer there. They decided, okay, we're going to cut ties with it. We're no longer going to, do any kind of business with Belarus or Russia. And they are not even marketing their games or taking any profits from their games played in those regions. In fact, the servers that run their games got handed over to those studios that still existed in those regions. And they said, they're yours. You can run them there. We're not part of this anymore. Which was... That's probably the most extreme thing that I've seen, other than Fortnite raising $144 million for Ukraine.
Yeah.
This is probably the biggest thing of like they literally, and it's not like they fired everybody in their Minsk because their original studios in Minsk. They didn't like fire everybody there. They just said, "Yo, you're just a different company now. And we're not associated with you. Whatever you do, you. If you make money, that's fine. Here's your servers. We don't want to hear about it anymore." And that's pretty ruthless in some ways, and that's a severe way to do it. I love it. I approve. I think it's awesome.
I approve. So you guys know Razer headsets. They have some that have the little kitty cat ears on them. They're super, super
Oh, yeah.
cute.
Those are very popular.
Yeah.
And hard to find, typically.
Yeah. So the Razer Kraken headset may have saved an
Kraken.
18-year-old person from being shot in the head by a stray bullet.
All right, this metaverse is getting out of hand.
Right? Right?
Right? So...
Oh, man. That's a good one. I'll have to keep that one.
TechRadar was reporting that they talked to this Reddit user enough_dance_956, enough dance 956 from now on, as far as I'm concerned, was talking to some friends in the morning, and a bullet flew through. This player lives in Torrance, California. Bullet through their window and hit the headset, bounced off the headset, hit the wall, bounced off the wall, and then fell on their bed. And they posted pictures on Reddit, and a lot of people were like, "Man, don't believe you. This is some BS." So then they posted more, and they said, "Oh, I was almost a dead 18-year-old kid."
Like, it's half an inch.
Yeah. Yeah. This was seeing all of the pictures. This wasn't an April Fool's joke. So apparently Razer sent over a new headset, some additional merch, reaching out to them, asking them if they were okay. And they said they were. So still to be seen if this was actually...
They should have a new laptop and everything from Razer, just because it's
Razer
good publicity for them.
So it worked. Okay, you're alive.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey,
okay. Oh,
that new inventory. Make sure to put that as a bullet point. One of our things.
Bullet point.
Bullet point. We're still waiting to see if there was actually a police report that was filed, because the enough dance 956 said they did call the police, and the police took the bullet.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that works.
Apparently it was tied to like some shooting that was like blocks over, and it was a stray bullet from it.
Early in the morning, really early in the morning too, and it made me think maybe I should.
This is like L.A., isn't it?
Maybe I should start wearing my Arc just one.
Mhm.
Like this will definitely save me from a lot.
Yeah, that's a good test. You should start wearing your
Yeah.
Arctics, and that way we can see
Yeah.
if the Arctics are better. And
Yeah,
if not,
that's.
then
Oh,
have to-
and I do live in a place that is frequented by bullets. If I look on Nextdoor right now, I guarantee there are at least 3 messages saying, "Was that bullets or
gunshots
fireworks?
or fireworks.
Gunshots or fireworks?" Yeah. So
It's Atlanta's favorite pastime.
Well, see, no, I'm further in the foothills and the Hicks, not
foothills.
Hickses and people, but
I
like
don't know if I called them
the boondocks.
you're technically in the suburbs.
I would say that next door here doesn't say that at all. They just said, heard firearms again.
Yeah.
Because it's just shooting out here. They don't
shooting.
There's no questions. There's no like, was that fireworks? I'm like, no, someone was shooting again. And because I heard 2 shots the other day, but up here it's more likely someone is taking a rifle or a handgun and shooting at animals that are like on their property.
Well, yeah, I mean,
As opposed to where you live where they're shooting at people.
yeah. And I will tell you though, more often than not, they're fireworks. Just somebody like on a Tuesday, I was like, oh, I just stopped off on my way in town and I got some fireworks.
Yeah.
And they don't usually
Especially by
sound
the
like
stadium.
that.
There's worse
Yeah.
by the stadium. Like every week they have fireworks. Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm like, your kids should not be awake. It's 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Mom, you so hard.
So if you're like me, you're hopefully waiting on Starfield to come out and not suck. So
That's the
Starfield
thing.
developer Bethesda, which is now owned by ZeniMax, owned by Bethesda, or owned by ZeniMax, owned by Microsoft now.
You just made this so much more complicated.
Way more complicated than it needed to be, but that's me. So here we are, full circle. So anyway, Starfield has shown some art of one of your companions. His name is VASCO. And he's a cute little robot, and
Cute.
he's pretty awesome looking. He's like almost
Wally
like a
is
mech warrior.
cute.
And he has apparently a bunch of different things for you to survive with, like crafting and being able to break things down and build stuff. But also comes with machine guns and rockets. It looks like
For defensive.
For defensive measures. It's not that he's really he's not really an aggressive kind of robot, but he can protect himself if needed, or you. But really cool. They showed some artwork like that. Some of the gameplay footage looks really good. Obviously, it may just be cutscenes, but we can also see at this point now, most games are actually looking pretty good. So I'm excited. Only thing that kind of caught me off guard, which was already announced, I just forgot until recently. And when I saw the trailer and it said the ending was 11/11 of 2022, and I'm like, wow, it's like right around the corner. So I hope they don't rush it. Hopefully, it's going to be good, but please don't suck.
Please don't suck. All right. If you are a fan of the Lego games, which I have not played a Lego game in a long time, but I do love them. I did love playing them, and I will definitely be playing Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker. Skywalker? I'm making up a new game.
Skywalker. I like
You
it.
are.
Skywalker Saga. Happy Friday. In this version, though, in this new Lego game, they actually talk. The Lego characters speak as if you were watching the Lego movies, which is throwing me for a little bit of a curveball there. But don't worry.
Full on voice acting.
Yeah. Yeah. Full on voice acting, yes. It's not the Star Wars games that I love. I love the hold on one second, honey.
Do that often, Kelly?
Yeah, in my private time. So you can actually turn it off. We'll post the article on Twitter so that you have the actual details of how you can turn it off.
What's crazy about this? It goes deeper than that, because literally one of the reasons I returned Animal Crossing on Switch was the fact that they made those little weird noises and you couldn't shut it off. Like, that was legit the reason why I turned it back in, because they kept like they have this like weird kind of like mumble that they do, and there's no words because they're animals, but like there was no way to turn it off in that game. So I looked at the settings, I was looking online, and everybody's like, "Yeah, dude, this has been like an issue since the beginning. You know,
Issue,
nothing new."
I was just about to say
design
issue.
decision, not an issue.
Issue. Anyway, it was an issue for me. So I actually returned the game for that. So I could see how like that could affect you on the inside or the reverse of like me hating the mumble, but at least you have the option, right? Like they're giving you the option to turn it off or on. So I just want that option, Nintendo, and I'll play your games. I promise.
Well, I mean, like it's by default they're talking, so it's
yeah.
You have to go somewhere to turn it off.
Yeah. It's
Also
like through the pause menu too, which is not like the same place.
Yeah.
But I understand why they are not. I understand why it's defaulted to on for the voice cast, but
because that costs money.
Yeah, lots and lots
to,
of money.
to get the voiceovers and everything.
Yeah, but it's a Lego game. Like, why'd you have to switch it up, man? But I guess the Lego movies have been very popular. They have been very successful too. So.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, the whole time there, I was trying to think of a Sith joke, but you know, if you've heard one, you heard them all.
The mall.
That was terrible.
You like dad jokes, so I gave you one.
That was bad. I'm not even sure if I want to hear that one again.
One last thing about Lego, and this is a quick one because there's not a lot to it. I have personally said before that, you know, we everybody's talking about metaverse. Heck, you know, even earlier today, Zycia made a metaverse joke. It's something that has already been with us because you got Second Life and you got a couple other things like that in the past where there was these online virtual worlds where you could buy stuff. Before there was NFTs, you could actually buy houses and everything in
GTA 5, I mean, literally, it's the same thing. I mean, you're not putting your VR goggles on, but it's very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've all had different levels of success. People have made money in some of them, like Second Life and some of the others. Their.org or their.com is another one. That's like a Second Life. Well, I've said before that probably the closest to a modern metaverse that I've seen is really Fortnite. And at least the overall bigger thing of Fortnite, which is where you can have the concerts, as they call them. I think they're more musical events than concerts. Or, you know, the Martin Luther King, you know, museum thing that they did, which was very cool, and you know, had trivia and you learned some stuff in it. And it was very much, you know, people getting together and having this kind of social thing, and then at the same time, people getting together and shooting each other, not necessarily in those events, but in other parts of it as well. So I thought this recent announcement was a perfect combination where Epic, creators of Fortnite, announced that alongside with Lego that they are getting together to create a metaverse type offering for kids. And it's they said they're going to combine their extensive experience to ensure that this next iteration of the internet is designed from the outset with the well-being of kids in mind. So they don't really say a lot about it other than that. They're not really saying what's going to be involved. Personally, being a fan of Minecraft myself, which is kind of a game that's very similar to Legos, and also being a fan of Fortnite, I think this is super cool. I think this is going to be really great. They're going to have adult abilities for adults to be able to set what their kids do in that universe. Again, it's meant to keep kids safe, so I'm not exactly looking forward to like going on it myself. If anything, I hope that they take this and they release, like, it's going to sound wrong saying it this way, but the adult version of it. The grown-up version of it is probably a better way to say it. having a Lego universe type thing that I can walk around and have fun and maybe come up with a lightsaber and like cut Zeissy in half and watch the two halves, you know, and the legs walk off, and then he like come back around and he picks himself up, puts himself back together, and then he builds something. I'd be down to see all that. So, but no one knows what it's about yet. The only thing we know is that they're getting together and that this iteration is going to be very much for kids. Proof.
A lot of
That's
money
cool.
to be made. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All
Absolutely.
Right, well, that has been the
You went to
news
money
for this week. And hang out for just a minute. Listen to a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. And we're back.
I love it.
So, what a event-filled news section today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take you down the smooth road of games we've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, and it's not games we've been playing. It's games.
Well, games I've been playing. But
yes.
But yeah, it actually looks like I'm the only one who's really been playing games this
well,
week.
I have two things. I have the first two things.
Well, you haven't played those this week.
But it's not
but games I've been playing.
Games.
It's games I've been playing. Games I did play.
Okay, you go first. You're the host.
Yeah, I'll go first. I go first. So
you're number one.
I haven't really played a whole lot of new stuff. Mainly, I've been playing with my Steam Deck because that's what I do right now. And so what I've really been playing is just a bunch of Majora's Mask and a lot of A Link to the Past, which has been really cool. I feel I've called my Steam Deck now is actually the MZD, which is a modern Zelda device. And it's just an ability for me to be able to carry this around with me and play different versions of different games of Zelda. So it's pretty cool. I can just walk around the house and before bedtime and on the couch and basically everywhere. I probably shouldn't be doing that. I should probably pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm usually playing the Steam Deck now. So.
Nah. I mean, you got a new toy. You got to play with it.
Fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's so much more that like I'm learning every day, and they keep putting out new updates. And a few of my brethren actually got their Steam Deck email yesterday and ordered it, so it should be here by the end of the next week.
Well, and
so it's pretty exciting.
It's not just that you're among the first. I think someone called you the 1%, and I think that's actually accurate. Like, seriously, I'm listening to game journalists. They're like, my Q2 email just came in so that I could order Q2. And another one goes, I got bumped to Q3. I'm like,
aww.
And like, these are the people that I totally would have expected to like be in the front of the line. Not because of their name, not that Valve said, but I mean that they would have stayed up late at night and put in the reservation, right? And I'm like, dude, my boy Mike's got one and has had one. Like not like just this last weekend or anything like he's had one and all these other people don't. And it's like
it's pretty nuts.
It's pretty nuts.
Like when I showed you guys when I did the first update, it was like, hey, you're running the very first version that came off the factory floor. Like you may want to update the firmware.
Yeah, right. Imagine the views if you had just like videoed all this stuff and put it out there since you're one of the first.
I know. Too bad.
Just lost opportunity.
What's really cool is just a lot of the things that, like I said, I'm picking up on. Like, yeah, I'm doing some emulation, which is cool, which is not anything new. I mean, people have been doing that on their cell phones for years at this point.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm able to switch in and out, and then also playing some of the actual Steam games, games that are through the Steam platform, have been really awesome. Like they just load in, they load out. Like I don't really find any issues. Like the bigger issues that I find is like typically on Xbox Game Pass when I launch a game, sometimes I have to launch it again. It doesn't actually like go through.
Yeah.
But again, that's not even like a Steam verified type thing. I mean, even though that they said they support it, but it's not like actually running the game. They're just streaming everything. But it's just really cool. I don't know. Like I would love to have anybody ask questions and I'll answer them for you, or even clip a video if I need to. But there's just so many things you could do of it.
Almost like they could send you some type of mail, like electronically, to GOA@sasgaming.com, and you could answer any question that they want.
I could even open it on the browser within the Steam desktop of
Yeah,
Steam
right?
Deck. I'm just saying. It's crazy. Anyway, that's all I've been playing. So, Brian, what do you got?
I actually haven't been playing any games, but I did want to talk about games that I found. Well, and specifically, I want to talk about Game Found. Now, I'm not trying to sell anyone on this. I'm just informational for people who like stuff like that. That's all this is. I have talked about previously how I have ordered a number of things through Kickstarter. And sometimes it becomes the mystery Christmas thing because like at Christmas, you get all these Amazon packages and my family, for whatever reason, doesn't tell me the tracking numbers. So I can't tell which package is whose until I open it. And I'm a big advocate of I'm not a parent. So I'm not opening stuff ahead of time to like wrap it for the kids or anything like that. I leave.
Oh, no. So I am a parent and I don't open stuff.
Oh, you don't
ahead
do
of
that?
time.
Oh, bless your heart.
No, because I need to make sure that I just leave it in the box.
Yeah.
I'll open it up, which is why I found things like the laundry
that you ordered
sanitizer that I ordered and was like,
see, I don't fall into that trap because I know my tracking number, so I check them.
Yeah. Somebody sent me
Apparently, I'm terrible. I just open everything.
Well, somebody sent me a Snoop on the stoop,
yes.
And I have no idea who did it.
Right. Because that's the other thing.
Reached out to the people
I remember,
I think, because Mike, you were one of them. I was like, did you send this to me? I sent it out to Peanut Butter Mongoose. I was like, did you send this to me?
Okay, I gotta segue really quick, and then we'll get back to this topic.
Sorry.
This is kind of a newsy thing, and I keep forgetting to bring it up. You do realize that Snoop Dogg is coming to Call of Duty, right?
Wait, what?
Snoop Dogg is going to be.
Is Martha coming too?
I don't know, but Snoop Dogg is definitely coming. I don't know about Martha Stewart, but Snoop Dogg is definitely coming. He's going to be in, I believe, Call of Duty Warframe or Warfare or whatever, as they call them skins, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is going to be here this month, April 2022. Would you like to guess which day in the 4th month that Snoop Dogg is going to be in Call of Duty?
The 20th?
You are absolutely wrong.
Oh, lucky guess.
Wrong.
Lucky guess.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
What?
That's what day they should have done it on. They're putting him in 4/19.
Wait, because it's Sweetwater Fest. Or it's 420 Fest.
420 Fest is on 420, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Unless he's talking about it's on a weekend date.
4/19 is when they're putting him in.
4/19. No.
What a missed opportunity! Why do you put Snoop Dogg into a game on 4/19? You do not understand the internet if you're doing that. That's ridiculous.
Why? You don't understand culture in general.
Right?
I'm actually confused because this is not the 420 Fest because I thought he was at 420
He
Fest.
was supposed to be at 420 Fest and he backed out because apparently he was already scheduled to do another festival.
He just forgot.
Another concert.
I wonder why he forgot.
And actually, 420 Fest is April 28th through May 1st, which is
weird.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so back to games that I found. I would order things on Kickstarter, and I would just order them, and they would come when they came. So a lot of times, yes, I would have these things at Christmas that I didn't open the box. People didn't give me a tracking number, so I don't know if it's not one of the things I ordered. I know that. And I open it up, and I'm like, oh, there's this happy Christmas to us, honey, because we have this game we can now play that I forgot was coming or didn't know it was going to show up now at Christmas time. So that's happened multiple Christmases. I do like Kickstarter. It's a great way to get some cool things from some smaller companies. Some larger companies absolutely use it too. There are some established people that know without a doubt that they're going to ship and it is not a risk and it is something that you're interested in. And sometimes it's safe. One of those, which has always been one of my fans is Cyanide and Happiness. They made Joking Hazard.
Yeah.
Just hilarious. They made the trolley game, the trolley dilemma, they did it in the same artwork. It was very funny. It was a very neat little game. They did that on Kickstarter. I got that as well. And sure enough, because I had Kickstarted them a couple of times, they do their updates to their old and existing campaigns in the past, and you get the emails on those updates. And I get this emails, and it says, "Oh, we're doing this new game." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll kickstart that." And I look at it and "Oh no, it's not it." The email came from Kickstarter. The game's not going to be on Kickstarter. The game is actually on this similar and new service called GameFound. And GameFound it was put together by some indie people as it is to better support indie game creators. And one of the things that they wanted to get away was Kickstarter was talking about doing some stuff on the blockchain, and a lot of people said, "Peace out, yo, no." We've already ranted on NFTs today, so I won't go down that road. And there's some other things too, some quality of life things for the people that are trying to crowdfund something, like putting in pledge managers. The thing that you go through at the end, that where you're like, "Oh yes, this is actually my shipping address," and they say, "Oh, well, and you didn't buy any of these extras. Would you like to buy any of these extras now and put those in there? And what type of shipping would you like?" And all this. So they manage the whole pledge at the end of it. That's built into GameFound, along with a couple other things. So, Cyanide Happiness is one of the people that using it. Again, I'm not trying to sell anyone on this. If you don't care, don't use it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But Cyanide Happiness's new game is called Master Dater, which was hilarious when I said it.
Wait, Master Dater?
Master Dater.
Is it Master Dater?
Master Dater, yes.
Master
I said it earlier with no context whatsoever. None of the explanation.
I actually cannot wait to fix the transcription for this one.
Right.
Yeah,
this is going to be great. You're going to be working double time on that. I said it with no context later, and Zeissy was just shaking his head. He probably thought it was another anime game or something like that. I don't know.
I did.
It is, however, a card game for, like I said, from Cyanide and Happiness. And it's interesting because what you do is you create someone who is trying to date. And maybe you have some qualities about you that are kind of detrimental to dating. For instance, maybe you're skin wearing and holding a gun.
Oh, like wearing skin?
Yes, the head is wearing skin.
Sweet.
So you basically select a head and select a body.
5 stars.
And then someone else selects their head and their body, reptilian and threatening a baby, for instance. And then what happens is the love interests show up. So, the love interests are, I'm interested in someone who does true crime podcasts, or fun fact about me, I'm extremely superficial and I need someone who can start a cult with me. And it's one of the games in the vein that they do. The trolley trial was very similar to that too, where you have to argue your case, kind of thing, and explain why you're the best fit. And then of course people vote, who's the master dater? I'm just gonna keep saying that, so you have to keep editing it. And you get points from there. I haven't looked too much into the rules, but it looked fascinating. That's something I'll probably pick up because I like the Cyanide Happiness stuff. Anyway,
pretty good. I mean, Joking Hazard was a blast. I think it has better playability than Cards Against Humanity, just because of the fact that of the changing of the comic,
Well, and that's the brilliant part of it, is that you're making a traditional 3-panel comic with Joking Hazard and seeing who makes the funniest one. Fantastic. Amazing.
Yeah, it's super great.
So anyway, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Sweet. Well, that's everything that has been interesting for us this week on Got Our Attention. So, usually we read through emails, but we don't have any of those. But you can send us one at goa@sasgaming.com, and we'll read it out loud, hopefully, as long as it's somewhat okay. Other than that, though, thanks for listening. We do have a website you can check out, sasgaming.com, or if you want to support us a little bit more, you can go to patreon.com/sasgaming and pick up either tier 1 or tier 2, which gets you names in the credits, gets you a little bit of perks on Discord, also unedited podcast, and also uncensored. So there's also that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Wraps it up for this week. Until next week, where I know 2 of us will be live from PAX. We'll talk to you guys.
Not next week.
2 weeks from now. Sorry, 2 weeks from now. I was thinking we, for some reason, we're on the trivia timeline.
He's thinking every other week stuff.
Yeah. That's all
Next
good.
week we'll be
2
live.
weeks from now.
The week after that, we live from PAX.
And we
I'm
did
excited.
not. We didn't talk about.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, we don't talk about
You just talked about him. Bruno's
All right,
on
guys.
assignment.
Until next time. See ya.